Okay, everybody, once again, I'm here. Want to talk to you guys still continually about, why a lot of people don't want to get married. I mean, what's the worst thing about it? I mean, what have I heard down through the years about people getting married and the reason why they divorced? You know, sometimes people find out things about their spouses that they didn't know about, and it makes them not want to be there anymore. Sometimes people change. A lot of times people change. Sometimes people hold back information and you find out that you're on two separate pages. Sometimes you find out later that the person you thought they were, they weren't. It reminds me of a man whereby this woman portrayed to be what he wanted, but then he just married her. Now he mad at her because he did not gather the information and because she was not what he wanted. Well, you should have inquired about that, but he didn't. So now he's upset with her because she was not what she said she was. You got to look at life today. Especially I know women, a lot of women, they want a man to take care of them. You can take care of yourself. You should want a man for something you can't do for yourself. Then again, you should want to support a man in whatever he's doing. Then again, if a man don't know what he want to do, he don't know where he going, just like in the last message, video. I mean, how can you help a man that don't know where he going? A lot of people, they have this facade of what they think marriage is all about. God said that he made the woman to be a help to the man, not the man to be a help to the woman. But times has greatly and deeply changed. A lot of people are not being honest about what they are, what they're about. Sometimes people know they jacked up, but they want to get married. But they want to marry you knowing that they jacked up. So you married them and you jacked up, and because you don't have clear understanding about position in marriage relationship, you married them and you jacked up. So you have two jacked up people. Just like I said in the previous video, you at the altar stands a man, a woman, a little boy, and a little girl with unresolved issues. And then you're getting married, and then in the beginning, y'all are all over each other. Can't get enough of each other. Get a bump the phone, make it beep to wake you up. But then you come a time that you can't stand each other. It's like, okay, what happened? What happened to make that come to pass? You were so in love and now you can't stand the person. Sometimes it's a matter of stuff going on that you did not expect. And a lot of people, when they're making those vows, they're not making the vows because of the vows. They just looking, well, it's the right thing to do. Okay, just like I don't know if I said it in the previous videos, but this boy, young man rather, I really can't even call him a man. I won't call him what I want to say. But this male, did not want this woman, this girl, but he married her anyway. What kind of sense did that make? You the man, and you want to marry a girl, and you don't want her? You are going to spend the rest, and people, you have to realize and understand this. You are going to spend the rest of your life with this individual. You might as well marry what you want. I mean, come on. And you owe it to yourself to gather as much information about that person as you can. Just because that person say, I want to marry you, and you want to get excited about that. Look, do like the other man did and go get you some marriage counseling and understand. I mean, what is a marriage to you? What is a marriage? I mean, you need to sit down and think about that. This is the rest of your life. This is not someone that you want to maybe just have sex with, because sex is only 10%. You know, it's only 10%. You got to live with that person. Everything about them you got to deal with. Just because a person look good on the outside, that don't mean they look good on the inside. I be looking at some people, and I be saying to myself, man, he look good. But I be saying, but what is in that house? I mean, some people will shock you. They will shock you, and you be bewildered in what you're looking at. That's why I tell people, you will be better off getting as much information. Forget all of that. Ooh, I'm getting married. Oh, he asked me. Oh, she said yes. I look at couples when they get married, and they engage, and they start before they get married. They are so happy. And then after they get married, they can't stand each other. It's like, what happened? Sometimes people tell you. I never will forget a story that a man told me. Now, this woman told this man, what I'm going to do? I'm going to get me a husband, then I'm going to get me a boyfriend. Then turned around and told the man, will you marry me? Well, the man married the woman. And someone told me, I'm not going to say they're all dumb, but somebody told me that men are dumb. To be the head, there's some dumb men, there's some dumb folks. But here this is, this woman tell you, I'm going to get me a husband, then I'm going to get me a boyfriend. And then she asks you to marry her, and you marry her. And you do all you can for her. Then she tell you stuff that you just believe it. But because you was in love with the woman. And see, and men, you got to realize, women can see you a mile away. Women can see men. I can wrap him around my finger. And men, you can't be so like the billy goat walking behind the female with her tail flipped up and his nose in her behind, walking behind her. You can't be so drawn. You know, I know you have all that testosterone working in your body, but it's like when it comes down to the rest of your life, sometimes you have to tell your body to shut up, sit down, and be quiet. Because if you don't, you're going to be bitter over things that you thought and she had nothing to do with it. And, you know, it wasn't her fault. She was just being herself. But because you so, ooh, look at that butt. Look at that body. Oh, she's beautiful. I got to have her. And that's all you're looking at. I look at most couples today and I be like, they seem happy. They seem together. But what is it really like? A lot of people put on a front. They look happy. But if you could be the fly on the wall, that couple ain't happy. They just going through the motions. Maybe because they don't want y'all saying, what's wrong with them? What's wrong with them? You know, I thought y'all were better than that. You mean y'all got the Holy Ghost and can't live together? What's wrong? Marriage ain't even about the woman getting her mortgage paid. I see a lot of women I know. They have their own house. And the man, a lot of men I know, they got an apartment. A lot of women are taking charge. I have women in my life now that they're on a mission. But what that man doing besides just working? What are you doing? You want to be married, or you don't want to get married again because of your last relationship. Okay, let's back up. So what happened in that last relationship? Now I know that, you know, we all think we all think that we are practically perfect. You know, and you know, we are a prize to be won. But let's get down to the real deal. What about you will make a person not want you? You get a nasty attitude, you snap on a dime. Oh, I could say so much. Stuff I've heard people say down through the years. The reason why, you know, a person would not want them. Sometimes I wished I could see people talking to people that I know. And I see them trying to talk to somebody, and I say, you don't want that. And keep walking. Because everybody, I don't care who they are, I don't care what they do, everybody is going to put their best foot forward. Now, if you get a best foot, you get a worse foot too. But everything want to get married. Just like this man that wanted this woman's daughter. Well, in order to get the daughter, I got to marry the mama and move in a house and move them in my house. Once I move them in a house, I can get that daughter. But because he wine and dine you, and then you give up sex, you can't see what he doing. Why? Because that sin is blinding you from what he's doing. Then somebody have to take communion with you and pray that your eyes be open. And then once you take that communion, then your eyes come open. And now you see what's going on. And then you jet with your daughter. But what's the worst thing about getting married? What's the worst thing? You find out that they wasn't the person you thought. You learn things about them that you never would have thought they would do. They turn around and break your heart. Some people, after a bad breakup, they can't get over it. And I be saying to myself, of all the people in the world, you gotta go to pieces over that one. Yes, I understand. I've been in love 3 times. Didn't get none of them. 3. First time I was in love, that man didn't love me. But my heart was set on him. His heart was set on doing other things. I got to a point, I said, Nina, it's time to let this go. He's only one man. Second time I fell in love, I'm so glad that man was honest with me. He was honest with me. He was honest. He showed me the whole time we were together his good side. Then showed me a quarter of his bad side. So I don't want that. Third time, God knows. I said, you know what? I could get rid of this. But what's the worst thing about getting married? I think the worst thing about getting married is not truly knowing the person. And then you find out things about them that you didn't know. And I was asking someone a question. Is a person's past important? I remember, and I believe I said this in a previous. When I was in Charlotte, I saw a mass deliverance of homosexuals. You know, it was part of a deliverance church. And I said to myself, well, those homosexuals are going to need wives. And when I told that to a few women, I just wanted to see their reaction. And you know, they turned their nose up at them at that. I said, I don't want that. But what if the person you want has a past like that? Or have a past of not just homosexuality, but incest. You know, they raped a child, but hid it. You know, they had sex with an animal, but they hid it. But then you one day, you marry this person, and y'all have kids, and then you see your children at the table eating food like an animal, and you wonder, what in the world? But then come to find out that your spouse that you married had sex with an animal. So now because they had sex with an animal. The spirit is on your children now. Now, how would you feel about that? Okay, you married the person now. But is the past important? I think it should not, personally. As long as a person is not doing that no more, and they are getting deliverance, they're getting soul wounds healed, I don't have a problem with a person's past. I have a problem with it. I don't worry about people that have that homosexual thing like that, because I got a deliverance for you. It'll deliver you if you want to be delivered. But you got to go through the process. You don't have to get a bucket and show everybody what's coming out of you. I'm not smiling because it's funny. I just smile a lot. Maybe it's my downfall, I don't know. I smile a lot, I laugh a lot. But trust me, I'm serious. But what's the worst thing about getting married? Person break your heart. I'll tell anybody, you need to learn how to unglue. Not unglue, detach. That's the better word, detach. You have to learn how to detach. You have to love them and not love them. Be into them and not into them. Besides that, ask God, I need your help. I need your help in making a decision. You know, some people I see, they get married and get a good connection. Some people, they don't. But what's the worst thing? I see people, they can be together as boyfriends and girlfriends, even though I don't teach that. But they can be together and stay together as boyfriends and girlfriends. But once they get married, they're like they can't stand each other. That being together all the time. What's the worst thing about being married? You can fall into a routine and it's the same old routine. If you like pina colada and running out in the rain, like that's the way the song goes. The man was looking for somebody because him and his wife, they just fell into a routine. But you just think about it, when people are in boyfriend-girlfriend relationships and they're not in the same house together, it's like they're always finding something to do. It's just that when they get married, they just settle. Well, just continue. You can continue just finding stuff to do. You know, take a cooking class together. Go see an opera. You know, do something that you don't normally do, and then just talk about it later. You know, we didn't go places. Be open, even in stuff that you don't want to do. Just be open to it. You know, try to keep the honey in the moon. And then what's the worst thing about being married? Your spouse not listening to you. Your spouse probably being too picky about stuff. Won't eat leftovers. You got to cook every day. You don't want to do that. Don't have that woman leave you for the bald-headed crook-tooth chef. But what's the worst thing about being married? You find out you can't have kids. So then your spouse convert to Muslim so he can get him a second wife. What's the worst thing about being married? Your spouse already cheating on you before y'all get married. You know, a lot of that's going on. What's the worst thing about being married? She using you for everything you got. She just putting up and dealing with you. Or he putting up and dealing with you. But what's the worst thing about getting married? Being married. First of all, you need to understand what marriage is all about. You know what? Take a divorce class. See why people get divorced. Because it could happen to you. Go to marriage counseling. You may find out it's really not for you. But then again, even though it's not for you, don't lay up in fornication. Because why? Everything about life is to keep you in sin. Marriage is honorable and the bed undefiled. But whoremongers and adulterers, God will judge. Marriage can be a beautiful thing. You just have to take your time, seek God, and keep on questioning and questioning and questioning. Get a list and write all your questions down. And while they're talking to you, like I say, have a telepathic conversation with God. Ask God, will this man please me? Will this woman please me? Will I be pleased with them? Will we be happy together in spite of everything we go through? Even when we hit the worst. What's the worst thing that could ever happen? Get in a car accident and they are unable to be with you physically. Would you stay there? What's your top 3 reasons for getting married? The top main 3 reasons why you want to get married. If you couldn't have one of them, which would it be? And you still stay there. What's the worst thing about getting married? Think about it.